Greetings, 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 disruptors. I am Coach Selena, and I am going to talk to you about the business of you today. I have 7 key areas that we are going to discuss. So, thank you for being here, and let's get right into it. Let me tell you about those 7 key areas. Fair enough? Let me tell you what they are, and then we'll take it from there. The business of you. Well, first, let me define it for you. Let me absolutely define it for you. And I got my notes here. Normally we have a coaching conversation with the guests. Today, I am my own guest. We will have someone back with us next week, and I'll tell you all about that uh, later in the week. For now, we're going to talk about the business of you, and I'm going to give you the current definition that I have around that. So give me a minute because I got a lot of notes in here. And so, business of you is it's something that I uh, came up with, and so what that looks like is it's the concept of really managing you, minding your business, everything about you, right? And so it is to really be intentional about managing your life, um, with the same intentionality you would if it were your business, if it were someone that you worked for and the work that you were doing. Think of yourself and the business of you as your own business. So, what that could look like, it involves you taking ownership of your personal growth, self love, relationships, your finances, and time as your most valuable assets. Your time, that being, right? All of these things that are you. Okay. And I did this in my own life. So just think of it like, a business requires vision, boundaries, accountability, and investment, to thrive, investment of time, money, energy, all of those things. So the business of you emphasizes taking control of your life, healing from past disruptions, and stepping into your power to create a life of purpose, your financial freedom, and really fulfillment, that joy that I talk about. Ultimately, you are the CEO of your life and you're responsible for its direction, growth, and success. You ultimately are responsible for your own happiness. And you've heard me say that many times. And it is one of the biggest things, in my life that I became painfully aware of as I continued on my journey of healing after a narcissistic relationship. It was in my marriage. And then again, when I went to work for someone that had the same energy. And and I just couldn't believe that I was kind of going through something like that again. And in that whole process, it started me in just going inward. Going through something like that made me wonder and realize, like, what is going on with me? How did I get here? Right? And so many times, um, you just don't know. But I will tell you for sure, is the journey begins within. The journey is not outside of you. Society and life may have us believing that. It is not the case. You hold the key and all of the answers. And with that said, ultimately, what the business of you is is getting to know you, getting to know your dreams, your hopes, your desires, your wants, your likes, your dislikes, everything. mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So many times I feel like we learn others, but we don't fully learn ourselves. Okay. And so I can really get off on a tangent on this subject, and I'm not looking at my notes right now. So here we go. So let me tell you those 7 key things. We're going to talk about clarifying your vision and purpose. Because without any vision or not feeling like you have a purpose, it you're just going to show up in a lot of different places and spaces. You're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel unfulfilled. You're going to be struggling to find meaning in your life. And to be quite honest, right now, I'm just going to compare it to me. And if something resonates around a client or things like that, I will share that as well. Um, for me, my life didn't take on meaning and purpose until I became pregnant. And I knew that I was going to be responsible for another life. And you may be experiencing that as well. You may feel that your life may not have meaning, but I assure you that it does. And this is a way to help you find that, what that looks like. Really sitting with yourself, sitting with your spirit, allowing your God or your higher power to talk to you, getting still enough to hear those things. Okay. And so that would be number one, clarifying your vision and purpose. Two, set boundaries like a business. Three, financial freedom as a personal KPI or key performance indicator. Time management as an act of self love, big and heavy on the self love. The power of accountability. Six is healing as a reinvestment strategy. And seven, discover your power. So let me uh, restate those just so that you have them so you're clear if you are taking notes. So, the business of you, 7 key areas that we're going to focus on, right? It's all about you. Say me, all about me, right? Clarifying, number one, clarifying your vision and purpose. Number two, set boundaries like a business. Three, financial freedom as a personal KPI, key performance indicator. Four is time management as an act of self love. Number five, the power of accountability. Number six, healing as a reinvestment strategy. And seven, discover your power. So we're going to talk about these 7 things today. I will try and be brief. I love, 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 love talking about these types of things. I have, I think I have 5 pillars that I generally stay in the space of. And let me tell you what they are: relationships, healing, power, financial freedom, and time freedom. So these encompass all those areas, okay, of your life. And so let's just get into it. What do I have to say to you about that? So much. So let's talk about clarifying your vision and purpose. You know, your life has one. And you may not know it initially, but if you look back and you look over your life, you're probably headed in a particular area or path. I had a gentleman on, Rich Keller, last week, and he talked about one word philosophy. Like there's one word that if you think about it, he's got some framework to help you figure out what it is. But if you think about it, it's really probably been guiding your entire life, like where you've gone, what's been on the path, and all of those things. And and the goal is to recognize that, identify it, and define it, and then it just helps everything else with where you're going. Um, for me, I believe I haven't done his practice yet, but as I thought about that, and I look back at the theme or the thread in my life, it is connection. I know that I am a connector. So I would say my one word is connector until I know different because it's how I show up in the world. It's what I do without even thinking about it. I connect people. And if I would say my mission and vision is in life is to connect people by creating a circle of love and being a bridge to random acts of love, information, and resources one heart at a time. In serving you all, I want to do that. I'm doing that one heart at a time through each individual and creating that circle of love. I say the circle of love is when you're your healthiest and your wholedest and you're serving at your highest capacity and vibration, that creates that circle of love because now you're in a position to serve who you are called to serve, what impact you were supposed to have in the world. So think about that. I'm also creating a workbook for you in relation to the business of you to be able to have as a download. And we'll make that available. And so all of this is really, really new for me. And so sometimes I get really nervous and excited when I'm talking about these things. So bear with me if you see that happen, my nervous energy. But one of the things that I want you to do, and I'll tell you at the end, let me just save it to the end because so many thoughts run through my mind, even though I have notes, because I can talk about this all day. Okay, so if you're feeling stuck, unfulfilled, or struggling to find meaning in your life, I want you to sit with yourself and get clear on your vision and your mission just for your life, for you, your North Star, your internal compass, right? So you want to create a personal vision. What do you want to achieve in life? What do you want to achieve in relationships? What would self-love feel like for you? What would being in your power feel like? What is freedom for you? And how would your healing fit into that? What do you need to heal? What is there that you're afraid of? You want to think about all of that and put all of that in there to help you get to your mission and your vision, right? If there is a level of fear, sometimes there's a fear of success that you may not even realize. There's some limiting belief or thing of that nature that could be standing in your way because you may not feel worthy. You may feel how, why. Don't think about the hows and the whys yet. Allow yourself to just vision and dream and imagine what your vision and mission and purpose for your life could be. Look back, think of, and this isn't stuff that you're going to just do in 5 minutes. These are things that you have likely not even considered or thought about. I hear that quite a bit when I give people my intake form that want to work with me. There's I want to know where you're at, right? So clarify your vision and your purpose is the very first thing to help you kind of get to know yourself, get to know, all of the things that you think or want and desire. You want to be thinking about that, right? And then set number two, set boundaries like a business. What does that look like? Um, just as successful businesses typically have boundaries because they're going to be thinking about how they are spending their time, their energy, the resources that they have. And so should you as an individual. You're going to set boundaries around your time because you can't show up and be everywhere. You know, you're likely struggling with overcommitting and saying no and people pleasing. It's just what it is. And you don't know until you know. So that's one of the things, setting boundaries like a business, because you are the business, you are the asset. Okay. So self-love is key in this area, right? I like to say boundaries help you get your needs met. If you have no boundaries and you're always up showing up saying yes to everything, and with probably with great reason because it's a community or a thing that you really desire and you want to be seen and heard, but what is it truly costing you, right? You're overcommitting. You're probably going to experience burnout because you just can't be in all of the spaces and places. And you are the asset. So remember, not everybody deserves access to you. And when you're not honoring your boundaries, it's a form of self-sabotage. Okay. So you want to get clear on that. I know that the word feels like it came up just in the last maybe 5, 10 years. I know when I was growing up, that word didn't exist. My family did not have boundaries. People's boundaries were getting violated all over the place. And I'm sure that I was doing some violating too, because that's what we knew. But the boundary is there to help you get your needs met, to identify what you do and don't like, what you do and don't want, to honor the commitments that you make to yourself. Okay. So, and you can tell by the things that drain you, you know, relationships, overcommitting at work or over volunteering for things that you know you don't have time to do, and you're fitting it in somewhere so that you don't even have time for yourself. That's an act of self-sabotage. We're going to stop doing that, okay? All right. So, number two, set boundaries like a business. Okay. And when I said that, there's something that probably popped into your head right away around your boundaries. One for me is I leave my phone on do not disturb. It never rings unless I intentionally um, turn it on. And reason being, because I want to control my time. And a lot of times, if I just pick up the phone and someone's calling, I got to make room for that time to have that conversation. So I don't do that. Typically on Saturdays, is when I'll call folks back, or sometimes maybe even a Sunday if I have an opportunity. But I'm not on the phone all day throughout the week because there's so much to be done, managing the business of me, right? So I want that for you to make that time and carve out that time by setting the boundaries that you need. Okay. Clear on that? So, number one, clarify your vision and your purpose. Number two, set boundaries like a business. Number three, financial freedom as a personal KPI, key performance indicator, something that you're tracking. Like businesses, they track their profit. You need to track your personal financial well-being. Okay. Are you investing in your future? That could look like securing a coach. That could look like um, personal growth. If there's something, going back to school, pursuing higher education, if you feel that's warranted. It could be a certification. Are you stuck in a job that drains you without offering growth or freedom? So maybe you want to start your own business, make that business investment if you aren't already doing that. So think about financial freedom in a way that will expand your choices, what that could really, really look like for you. You know, in this day and age with social media, there is so many things that you have already done that you may have life experience in, or you've been doing it on that 9 to 5. You've been helping someone else pursue and grow their business and their dreams and desires with your own equity, right? With what you have, that secret sauce that you have and that you bring to table that you're really good at. You could be creating your own business doing that thing. You're an expert in it already. If someone has paid you for it, you're an expert. On a job, they're paying you for what you do, you are an expert. And you likely already know where the problems lie where you can fill that gap to provide that solution for that problem. Okay. And so this looks like, no more dead end job type thing. You know, if you're struggling to get out of debt, great way to look at that financial freedom. One is starting to track it, right? You got to track your numbers. What does that look like? That's the business of you, minding your business. Sometimes we're afraid of looking at the numbers in the financial, but if you don't track it, you can't manage it. Even though it looks low, it's data. It's giving you information for you to be able to find your way through. Okay. Create the plan, create the vision, create the goals that are associated with that. That's minding your business, right? That's your business. Because if you're in debt and you want to be out of debt, who you think is responsible for that? You. Okay. So that's area number three. Um, and looking at ways to grow your income. Okay. Financial freedom as a personal KPI, key performance indicator. Okay. Next is number four, time management as an act of self-love. And this kind of goes along with the boundaries, right? Time is the most valuable asset that we have because it just ticks away moment by moment, minute by minute, second by second, hour by hour, day by day. Time never stops. We look up and we're like, wow, time went by so fast. Can you believe it? Right now, as I'm sharing this information with you, it's October. We're 10 months into the year. My goodness, it goes so fast, right? And so time is going to pass anyway. So, what are you going to do with your valuable time, right? Value your time because it is yours. One of my big things about time is I'm intentional about making sure that I am first on my list in my day, that the first amount of time I give it to myself before I give it to anyone else. What does that look like? Um, I stretch, I pray, and I do these things before I even get out of the bed. When I feel my first conscious, I give thanks. I say my I am statements to myself, how beautiful I am, how I'm going to have a beautiful day. Go be great and be wonderful. Whatever that looks like for you, you want to give that to you so that you don't feel cheated and like you have to fit yourself into your own day because you've given so much of your day to meeting other people's needs, demands, desires, whatever that looks like, especially if you're in the people pleasing, right? Or you're an over giver. Overgive yourself. Do that first. I have a rule too. Anything that I do for someone else, then I in turn need to balance it out by doing something for myself so that I can feel harmony. I don't like feeling off or not in harmony. I use the word harmony instead of balance because balance equates to like equal, like things are balanced. And life just isn't always that way, especially in relationships and things like that. Things are you're gonna have to figure out what works best for you. It's not one size fits all. And there's a rhythm to it, right? And so, what is the rhythm that creates the harmony for you? For me, I needed to be flow and ease. And when it's not, I step back and ask myself, do I really want to do this? Is it worth it? Right? Because what I've learned in my 57 years walking around on this earth is that God has a way of saving me from myself. So when things don't feel right, or I feel like it's got to be a tug or, a lot of tension, I have to evaluate that. Is it worth the tension? Sometimes, yeah, it may be, but most of the time it is not. And I'm okay with that. Trust what your body is saying, what your intuition is saying to you. And this is how you build that. That builds the self-love, right? The more that you start to trust yourself, be intentional. Be be intentional about you, the way you would be intentional about your children, how you're going to show up and fight for them and be a warrior for them. Give that same thing to yourself. 9 times out of 10, we're giving it to other people because that's what we desire. But you won't need to do that and or be looking for it in other people if you're giving it to yourself. Fill those gaps and those holes in you. Be the you that you want to be. Okay. So much of society has taught us that somebody else is supposed to make us happy. Well, that's just not true. So think about what that's costing you while you're waiting on Prince Charming or Princess Charming to come along when you can be filling your own cup, giving yourself those things that you desire, because nobody knows you like you know? And if you don't know you, now is the time to mind your business to get to know you, right? That's what this is all about, getting to know you, being the business of you. Okay. Tell me the name of your business too. What's the name of the business of you that you are running? Tell me what that is. I know for me right now in this season, what has been really, really resonating with me is just self-love. Self-love. I am in the self-love business. Self-love for myself, self-love for you, helping you get that self-love. So it's probably why I'm spending a lot of time here, right? Give yourself the time, the things, or the people that matter to you, where it's important to spend your time. It matters to me to spend my time with me so much that for years now, as a practice, all my errands, everything that I do gets done through the week so that I can have my Saturdays and Sundays fully free. I do not run errands, especially on Saturday, because all y'all out there, that makes no sense to me. It's not easeful or peaceful in any way. So I don't torture myself in doing that. If you see me out in a store on a Saturday, you better believe it's for a really, 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 really good reason. And it's probably for me, for myself. So think about that. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with your schedule, you're burned out, you're struggling to balance relationships, work, all of that, your career, whatever that looks like for you, this could be why. I want you to get in the business of time management as a self-love act, okay? Time management as an act of self-love is number 4. Okay? All right, moving on. Let's see how much time are we making here. Okay. The power of accountability. Number 5, the power of accountability, right? When this looks like creating, I like to call it a self-love tribe. And this is an area where you want to hold yourself accountable. The support that you need, giving that support that you need. It could be a coach, it could be that best friend that you can bounce ideas off that you know that's going to tell you the truth. It could be family. I know sometimes it's really around um, what you need to support you to be you. It could be um, like for me and my self-love tribe or inner love, because there's an inner love, outer love tribe, but the inner love to me is self-love. Like mani pedis, that is something that I absolutely want to have done every other week. It's a non-negotiable for me. I also get a weekly massage. Those folks are in my inner love tribe. It's what makes me feel loved and like I'm taking care of myself. And there are a number of things there. My psychologist, um, my primary care physician, because I've been dealing with some mental health challenges. Now, there might be a point where they may be moved to the outer, but right now for me, they're in the inner love tribe because I need it for my healing and what I've been going through. Um, then there are my coaches and the programs that I need in the areas that I want to strengthen. And then there is, I have a women's Bible study that I've been a part of going into my 16th year. And so we've been intertwined and praying for one another and standing in the gap for each other for a long time. So they are part of my inner tribe. So we want to create that for you and what that looks like. Be thinking about that, really, the power of accountability. People that you can say whatever you need to say, not be judged, but they're going to hold you accountable in love. Now, sometimes it's tough love. I'm the tough love. I know that about me. Um, and I need that. I need it. I'm a kind of, if it ain't rough, it ain't right. I need it straight. Don't sugarcoat and candy coat things with me, right? So the seventh area that you need is the accountability. If you know that you already struggling with being consistent and not meeting the goals and the things that you say you want to do for yourself, like maybe you say you want to lose weight. Well, what does that really look like? Because if you keep eating, fast food or fried foods, and you only got to start with just one thing at a time. You're probably not going to change everything because you won't be consistent, but just pick the one thing in the one area, just one thing, not all of the things, right? And do it with maybe somebody that's in your self-love tribe, right? So that you can stay consistent with your goals. And that's the other key thing. First, make sure they're written down. Make sure that you share them so that someone knows so that they could help you be held accountable. I talked about that today. I had my Sacred Woman prayer call today and I spoke about that. I show up for that call. Even if I don't show up for anything else, I join those prayer calls so that I can be in the circle in the community of women that have been through things that I have been through and we've gone through the rites of passage together to heal ourselves. So there's no judgment. I can be totally transparent about anything that's going on with me, and there's no judgment. It's an understanding. It's just a seed of love and frankincense and myrrh that they give that supports me in my healing. So I appreciate that, and it gives me strength and power. I am seen and I am heard, and I need that, right? So be thinking about those things that you need so that you can be able to get them and give them to yourselves or get the other areas of support you need there, right? So that power of accountability, you know, also, it also doesn't make you feel alone in the journey that you're going to, right? And it will also help you not self-sabotage, right? And if you don't know what self-sabotage is, that is when you don't honor yourself. When you say you're going to do something and then you put something else before it and it doesn't make you feel good. I got an example that this happened to me last week. Um, my masseuse he wanted to get some work done or something like that. And he said, okay, I'm gonna take this hour and I'm gonna get this work done. And I was working in the space, kind of co-working, and I knew I had things that I wanted to get done as well. And then afterwards, I was going to do some line dancing, and it's in the same space where I get the massaging. And instead of me doing the line dancing, which I know I wanted to because I wanted to get some movement and some energy in, and I was in a challenge. I'm sitting up there still talking to him. And what do you think is happening while I'm talking to him? He's working on his stuff. Self-sabotage is me not honoring the things that I said I wanted to do, which was go get the movement in. And what I realized as I was sitting there, I'm like, hold on, he's getting his stuff done. I'm not going to stand here and just be running my mouth, and he's getting his stuff done. And it was so cold in there, I realized I wasn't going to do the movement. So I went and I ran my errands. It was on a Tuesday. I needed to go to BJ's and get my strawberries and blueberries. I needed to go to Whole Foods to get my plant-based yogurt. I make parfaits every day. So that was going to make me feel good about myself. And then the next day having everything that I needed to be healthy. So kind of be thinking about that, right? Okay. So number 5, the power of accountability. You got to hold yourself accountable. Okay. And if you can't, get the people that you need. And let me just recap where we are. So we've looked at one, clarify your vision and purpose. 2, set boundaries like a business. 3, financial freedom as a personal KPI. 4, time management as an act of self-love. 5, the power of accountability. Okay. Now we're on to number 6, healing as a reinvestment strategy. I love this. I love, 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 love this. So in business, you're going to reinvest in your business, right? For it to grow, you got to be reinvesting. That's a given. So what do you think needs to happen for you to grow? When things come up, you got to reinvest, right? So think of healing as a reinvestment, because what you don't heal, it will come back in the ways that you don't want it to come back. Sometimes, for me, it took me a minute to realize what was going on, but I see a lot of adults that have what I would call adult temper tantrums, right? Toxic stuff shows up, and after a while, might label them. I want to stay away from them because I know how that interaction is going to go, because I've scratched a scab or a wound or something that they're not willing to look at yet. And that's on them. But for me and my house, what we doing over here, I get in it. I get knee deep in it, and I want you to get knee deep in it too. Be about the business of you and using healing as a reinvestment strategy, investing in yourself, whether it's healing from a toxic relationship, some past trauma, self-doubt. Your emotional work leads to growth in every area of your life. Every area. Don't be afraid to go in there, because once you go in there and you face it, you can overcome anything, right? And it's for your good. Think of it, if you have to think of it as doing it for your children, or doing it for your future husband or wife, great, because they shouldn't suffer because you don't want to heal that wound, but you also want to share your life with them, because they're going to get all of that comes out in those ways, right? And you wouldn't want anybody to put that on you, would you? Or maybe you would. You haven't healed enough yet. You're still in that space. So be thinking about that. You know, if you've been in a toxic or narcissistic relationship, that trauma, there's things that show up in that trauma that you don't even realize. I was in that space, and I'm still uncovering a lot of it. A lot of it has layers. That's why you need a self-love tribe, to get you through those things and be able to have the community to share that with. I'll start out a conversation sometimes with my psychologist, and I think it's going in one direction, and it'll take a whole nother direction. And it'll just start from something simple that I said that I thought was nothing. And it turns out it's bigger than what I realized. And that's what happens. And having your self-love tribe, when they see you, they see you. They're going to see the things that you don't see. I love someone showing me my blinders. because I'm trying to get to my highest vibration. Hey, I got you all that I'm looking out for and to serve. So I'm about doing that work. This work has saved my life. You hear me? And it will save your life. And I want that for you. You deserve it in every way. You really do. And don't let nobody tell you different. If they do, tell them to come see me because I'm about that life. For real, for real. Um, and I and 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 I mean that. It may not sound like I mean that. I don't know. But I am. I take the mission and the vision that I've been given to create the circle of love one heart at a time through my coaching and helping you discover who you truly are, helping you have the financial and time freedom that you desire, helping you live a life that you love. I want that for you just as much as I want it for myself. Okay. Um, so this is the way that you get there. See healing as a reinvestment strategy, a reinvestment strategy for the business of you. Okay. And this is across the board for men and women. I serve women because I'm a woman, but I've also served men. Okay. We all need it. We all in this human experience together. So healing as a reinvestment strategy is number 6. Number 7, discover your power, right? Just like a business has a unique identity that's called their brand. I want you to recognize and claim your own power, right? That could be your strength, whatever you're really good at. What do people say about you? What are you known for, right? Um, I know I know I'm known for connecting and relationships. I'm also known to be very nurturing. I hear that a lot. That would surprise me. Because I even didn't think I would be a good mother, right? So think about that. Like, what is your power, right? So that you can leverage it to disrupt the old patterns and create a life of purpose and freedom. And you know, but you got to go inward. You got to go inward, right? All of that is in here. It's in your heart, it's in your mind, it's in your body. Sit with yourself and think about those things. Tap in so that you can really, really strengthen your mind, strengthen your intuition. Those are all things that are for you. Now, originally, the mind, a lot of things that go on in there is to protect you, right? To make sure that you're safe. So you got to get better at also letting it know that you're in charge. You don't let your mind run away with you. It's built up a pattern of some things, but if you want to break those patterns, you got to do the leading and not letting your mind lead you around. Okay? Um so this comes into play if you're struggling with your identity and you don't know who you are. Those first 6 things are going to help get there, right? We go really, really deep in my coaching power program, Power and Divine Identity, where we focus on getting to know yourself, becoming yourself, and being yourself is the first pillar. And what that creates when that happens, then it allows you to be present, right? Presence, have that presence in your own life. That's what discovering your power is, right? Unfolding that. So if you work on the business of you and figuring that out, you ain't got time for all this other stuff that's going on, right? So if you feel lost, I want you to go inward so that you can discover your power and find yourselves. It's in there. It's in there. Maybe you need someone to help you bring it out. But I assure you, if you start with yourself, you're stronger than you know, right? This will help. Just who this who's who this will help anyone struggling with their identity. If you feel lost, um, like you're disconnected from yourself, if you're in an unhealthy relationship or a role that is not healthy for you, because it happens in the workplace. That's what I experience, right? And if you're seeking a deeper connection to your divine self, like your true essence, who you truly are, this is what you got to do, right? Discover your power. Really tap into that. And think about what it feels like when your body is experiencing it and do more of that. Okay. Well, that's the seven. We're going to recap. Discover your power was the seventh one. Just to recap, the business of you, seven key areas I want you to focus on: clarifying your vision and purpose. Two, set boundaries like a business. Three, financial freedom as your personal key performance indicator or KPI. Time management as an act of self-love. Number five, the power of accountability, creating that inner tribe or self-love tribe, that I like to call it, but it still starts with you. Six, healing as a reinvestment strategy for yourself. Minding your business, like healing yourself, drinking your water, getting your rest, getting enough sleep, eating the healthy things that you need, looking at your financial numbers, like all of those things, they all come into play. Seven, discovering your power. And only you can do that. These are all things that are in your control. They are your responsibility. They're going to make for a fruitful, happy life that you will enjoy and love. Drop me any questions if you have. If anyone is tuned in, let me see. I don't have anything in the chat. Drop me your questions. Would love to tap into that. If you want the workbook that I want you to type in the comments BOU. If you're catching this on Instagram and Facebook, type in the comments BOU, and I will send you the link to get the workbook. Some other key things that I have coming up as well is I am creating a membership called the Disruptor Academy. And what we're going to be deep diving on in there is becoming you, right? That getting to know yourself, becoming yourself, and being yourself. We're going to be deep diving on presence. What that does is it helps you get to your divine and true self. It is going to be a free community to start. So if you're interested in that, I want you to type Academy to let me know you're interested, and I will send you the link for that as well. Wherever you hear this message, just type Academy, and that will let me know that you're interested in the free Disruptor Academy membership. Okay. And we'll get you the link, get you signed up, and it's going to be free. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining. And if you stayed this long, let me tell you who I am. I'm Selena, the Disruptor Coach. I am an empowerment coach, and I specialize in life, business, and mindset coaching. I help you discover who you truly are and get your shit together so that you can have financial and time freedom to live a life that you love. If you know anyone that could use my services, absolutely share with them that I am here. And we're here to disrupt and no longer maintain the status quo. Think about what that has been costing you so far in maintaining the status quo. It's cost you financially, it's cost you in time, it's cost you in peace, it's cost you in power, it's cost you in energy. So, how much is that worth to you? Okay. That's my time. I thank you so much. In the meantime and in between time, I want you to take care of yourself. Okay. Until next time. Thank you.